just been seeing you guys improve, and it's amazing, right? I've seen people, being mad at themselves, being mad at me sometimes, like 4 months ago, and now, they're just posting, "Oh, I just passed this challenge. Oh, I just passed this challenge." Sending me messages. You guys, you know yourselves, right? And I don't want you guys to get it twisted, right? Right now, it seems a bit easy to you, some of you. I know it seems, it's not as complex as it usually was. I know that for sure, right? And that's just due to the fact that, you have more experience with the concepts that we teach here, right? It's easier for you to see sequential SMT. It's easy for you to see a precision swing point, right? It's easy for you to see gaps. It's easy for you to see SMT fills, right? Some of you have your own model. Some of you, you're scalpers. Some of you are day traders. And then the rest of you, right? Well, most of you, I believe, are, swing traders due to the fact that some of you run businesses and you don't really have time to just be sitting around charts all day, and that's okay. That's normal. I prefer swing trading as well, right? So I love the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame as well, right? That's okay. And, it's just amazing to see, your progress here, where we are getting to almost to the end of the year, which, still, right, there is a lot of things that we need to go through, right? Right. There are things that are bigger than, the monetary aspect of why you are here, right? Definitely. So, yeah, just to clarify, right, at the end of, you guys paying for 12 months, every year afterwards will be free, right? And firstly, this was just for the OGs, right? Because some of you guys, you joined around, I believe, the 1st of March or something like that. But yeah, but of course, this is just for you guys. No one else that comes afterwards will, be able to get what you guys are getting right now, just lifetime. And we have not begun. Even right now, where I'm here, where, the past month, I've been so busy. It's actually insane, right? It's crazy, how busy I've been, right? I've been to court for, monetary purposes. Got in a little bit of, trouble, just taxes I had to pay. To be honest, that was it. Right. So yes, once everyone pays 12 months but at the end of the year, right? Everyone, I'm just making this clear, right? Everyone that has been here since January, right? You will not have a reoccurring fee. That's it. Right? That's just it. Even if no one else joins, that's it. Right? Even if I decide right now that I don't want to do this anymore, right? You guys will be here still, right? Because of course I'll always be doing this, but just due to some reasons, as you guys know, and some of you know which reasons I'm talking about, right? I don't like to say, just be talking about certain things publicly, right? If you understand what I'm trying to say. I'll always be here just, in the community, and it'll just be private. I won't be, out there as though I used to be, right? I got in a little bit of trouble for that before, right? And I just don't want to be like that anymore. If after the 12 months are over and some of you guys, you decide that, oh, I'm going to just parrot what they say or whatever, that's your problem, right? You'll probably end up in the same situation that I almost ended up in, right? So yeah, pretty much, that's it. So yeah, looking at the economic calendar right now, right? So Tuesday, of course, we had some assets forming a major higher low. Well, let's just say it this way, right? Let's just try to make it as simple as possible, right? On Tuesday, we had sequential SMT and a precision swing point, right? Some assets you'll have a sequential SMT, which, doesn't take away from, the movement that occurred. But, before, this week began, this is what we expected, right? And this is why we like red folder days. Why is that? On red folder days, sequential SMTs and precision swing points are more prone to form. You understand? It's not just, okay, sequential SMT, just wait for it. Now you know, right? As I have hinted before, and sorry about my voice today. I have, it's just, I don't know what I have. If it's a flu or a cold or whatever it is, but like my throat, it just itches for some reason, right? Absolutely hate it. So yeah, where was I? So every day, or whichever day that you see a red folder news event, right? And this goes for individual peers as well, right? But now we're focused on the US dollar due to the fact that everything revolves around the US dollar at the moment, just at the moment, right? So again, whenever you see a red folder news event, which is, US based, you can expect, sequential SMTs and precision swing points to form on that day. And I've said before that whenever you have sequential SMT, there's usually a precision swing point that come afterwards, but it can be, reversed. What do I mean by that? There are times when you will have a higher time frame precision swing point. For example, a precision swing point will form on the 4-hour time frame, and afterwards you will have sequential SMT without a precision swing point, occur between the days of the week. You understand? Occur within the weekly cycle. You understand? Pretty sure that's most of you do. And if you don't, then you'll watch this over and then you do some back testing, then you will begin to understand. So this week we saw sequential SMT on Tuesday, sequential SMT on Thursday, and tomorrow is Friday, right? So we can expect that as well. This is why, since the past 2 months I've said, just focus on these days, right? It's like you have a schedule, right? You have a schedule. Let's say trades are buses. Let's just say that. Let's use that. You know when the buses are going to come. You know the time that they're going to come. You know the exact day that they're going to come, right? So now you know the times when to expect sequential SMT, when to expect high probability setups, when to expect precision swing points, right? Here on the chart, you can see that we have, the index features triad, right? Here at the lows, you can see that, right? We had sequential SMT between the 3rd week of the current month and the current week, which is the 4th week, which usually gives you what? Reversals, right? Or expansion. So basically, it's just expansion, right? Which is, just an immense movement of price. Price just, expanding just like that. That's just what it is. So it's not that, Q4 will, always form the low of the cycle or the high of the cycle. No, there are times when it just expands. It doesn't form the high, it doesn't form the low, it doesn't take out the high, it doesn't take out the low, it just expands. So movement, right, will usually occur within the fourth quarter, right? In this case, why in this case? Just due to the fact that prices dropped below the third week of the month, right? We had sequential SMT here during the weeks of the month. And while the sequential SMT occurred, we had a precision swing point here. So obviously this would not be the low of the month. It will just expand and continue upwards. But of course it will be the low of the week. Why would it be the low of the week? Whenever you have a monthly sequential SMT and a monthly a monthly cycle sequential SMT, which occurs on the forward time frame, as we all know, occur, right? Whichever day that occurs on, right, and you have a precision swing point, then what do you expect afterwards? Expansion. The low of the week is going to be formed on that day, right? Exactly. Here, right, we had sequential SMT between Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Do you remember this? I saw a lot of you guys, right? I was in the chats, of course, and I saw you posting your trades, and it's incredible seeing what you guys are doing right now. But here, back to business here. Sequential SMT occurred here. We had price poke above this high here. It's clearer on the 1 hour time frame. Here, there was a failure swing, which is why we had price, this dropping the most, right? And here we had sequential SMT again, whereas we had price trade above Tuesday's high on Wednesday. Whenever you see this occur, and I've said this before, right? Where you have sequential SMT here, and then you have another sequential SMT here, what do you expect? You know what it is, the magneto effect, right? But it is more prominent. It occurs more whenever you have a lower time frame sequential SMT, and I never talked about this before. It occurs more whenever you have a lower time frame sequential SMT occurring, right? Or, just happening before we have the higher time frame sequential SMT, right? Then what happened afterwards? Expansion. Price just ran these highs out. If you pay attention, every time, and I've said this many times before, right? Every time we have a major reversal, most times when there are reversals, 85% of the times whenever we have reversals, what is there? Sequential SMTs. And 60% of the times, what's there? Precision swing points. And when you put those, statistics together, and you filter out the noise, you can filter out fake sequential SMTs, you can filter out fake SMTs, fake market structure shifts, fake, fair value gaps, and when to expect a reversal. So now we're stripping down everything to the basics. We're not talking about T2 and T3 right now. Right? We're not talking about gaps right now. We're talking about highs, lows, and how the current quarter relates to the previous one. Right? That's what we're talking about. So at the low here, what's there? There's a precision swing point. That specific candle, which no one else knows about. And even if, you go out and you just post, this is a precision swing point, they will not understand. Because first of all, they don't understand, cross-market analysis. They don't understand what a cracking correlation is. So they're not going to get what a precision swing point is, which is the most important thing, by the way. If you realize here, on this candle right here, this was not, a precision swing point. This was not a cracking correlation. When you had this lower candle right here, we're looking at, comparing it across all the assets that are on the screen right now. That's an up close candle for the S&P 500. That's an up close candle. for the NASDAQ. That's a bullish candle for the Dow. When do you have the correcting correlation? The next candle afterwards. Right there, that's a precision swing point. Look at the NASDAQ. Right? That is a precision swing point. And that is when price decides to turn around. So whenever you have this type of price action occur, right, and you're looking at the forward time frame, which is an excellent way to form, to find day trades and such, day trade scalps, right? Whenever you see that 4-hour precision swing point, you jump to the 15-minute time frame and you look for any bullish pattern, right? That's what you do. And of course, most of you guys are not going to do that. You're going to drop down to the 15-minute time frame and wait for a cracking correlation. And that's when everything clicks. Now the highs right here, right? If you guys remember, we talked about, how whenever you have SMT occur, right, an immense amount of liquidity will be above, wherever you have, a cracking correlation. So for example, here we had, SMT here, price right about here, created a, correlation here, which, in fact, this is not sequential, but then it dropped. Same thing occurred here, right? We had price run above this, well, not run above this high, failed to break above this high, failed to break above this high as well, dropped. And of course, this is a precision swing point. Of course it is, right? The highest candle. So literally here, this is a precision swing point. Then here, this is a precision swing point as well, right? Here, you can see price run above this high, right here. Then, what happened? Precision swing point, drop. But this SMT right here, what made it significant? The fact that it occurred above a lower time frame sequential SMT. Right? Here. Right? And we're just going through this right now. The most important thing will be in the next, on the next chart. Here, we can see that what happened. Price traded below this low when on Tuesday. 2-week open here. Price traded below this low. Expanded afterwards. Here, price failed to trade above this high. Dropped here, price trade above this high, and drop. Right? So we had sequential SMT between Monday and Tuesday right here. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where you know when. This is where you know when to expect the S&P 500 and the euro to move in the opposite direction. This is when you expect two different asset classes to just pull apart. Right? So here, what do you see happening? First of all, you gotta pay attention to the low, to the low of the month, right? Not the time the low forms, right? You have to pay attention to the low of the month. Here, the low of the month was right here, right? Well, the low of the previous week, my bad, not the low of the month. Right? So here we have the low of the week forming right here, the low of last week, which was Monday, forming here. And if you realize and compare that to the Dow, the low of the week was formed when? Thursday. So we had the low of the week forming for the S&P 500 on Monday and the low of the week forming for the Dow on Thursday. Right? Doesn't matter the time it forms. You're just looking for the low of the week. Right? Of course, you need a forward time frame. So here, right, we had a low of the week being taken out. Here, right, for the NASDAQ, the same thing occurred. Right? Here, it was not taken out. There was what? A failure swing, right? And this happened, and this is what happened, right? However, here in the euro, what happened? We had the high being left, so there was a failure swing here, but in the Great British Pound, the previous week's high, which was formed on a Friday, was taken out. So here we have, a clashing bias, clashing sequential SMT, whereas we had it being bullish for the S&P 500, and we had it being bearish for the euro and the pound. If you look here, right, where you have this candle being formed, which was a precision swing point, right? Afterwards, and this was bullish, right? This was bullish price action for the euro and the Dow. Not the euro and the Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow, right? Price expanded afterwards. Why? Because we had the monthly sequential SMT, in order. We had it playing out. For the euro, right, at this time, right, the same time where we had this low form, the same time that we had, this precision swing point right here form, price did not, do what this did, right? First of all, the low for the euro, during the third week of the month, and the low for the British pound for the third week was far away from where we are right now, right? So we did not have anything bullish here, which is why we had price continue to drop lower, and just respecting the higher time frame sequential SMT which occurred here. So it doesn't matter, right? It does not matter what in another asset class does unless they are in sync. You understand? It does not matter what the S&P 500 does to the euro unless they're in sync. Whenever they're not in sync, for example, here we had bearish sequential SMT on the monthly cycle, within the monthly cycle, price is going to respect that. For the forex market, price is going to respect that for the euro, price is going to respect that for the Great British Pound. However, we didn't have that here. Instead, we just had price drop here, create sequential SMT, then just continue higher. I hope that you found this useful, right? And we will be back, right, the next day, right before we have high impact news events. So if, as I've said this before, and you already know this, right, if on Monday we have a high impact news event, we'll do the live on Sunday. If on Tuesday we have a high impact news event, when we do the live? On Monday, right? 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, usually between 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right? So we're drawing close to the end of this year, right? As, we get closer to the end of the year, we will obviously be diving deeper, right? I'm surprised to see so much people still here, right? It's a good sign. Obviously, you guys are learning something that, makes sense to you. And afterwards, right, after this year finishes, I'm thinking about just having you guys alone, in a chat. So I'm thinking that, if I choose to do this, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to 100%, but if I choose to have, another class, I don't think I want them to be able to communicate with you guys. I don't think I want them to be, be able to talk to anyone. Right? So it will just be, us. And if we have, for example, if we have, like Saturday live streams, which will come back. Saturday live streams will come back. Trust me, right? It's just that right now it's very hectic. Right? Just busy. Literally everything is packed. Shipping stuff like across the world. It's actually insane. A almost daily occurrence talking to lawyers. Very, stressful at times. But anyways, we'll have several live streams come back, and we'll have times when we alone will be communicating, right? We'll have times when you guys will be able to respond within a chat. They won't be able to respond within a chat. So you will have all of these privileges. All they can do is just wait for the next live stream. They don't have anything else to do. They can't do anything else but that. Right? For sure. NDAs are coming, as Trev B has just suggested. But yeah, of course. Anyways, with that being said, hope you guys found this useful. Continue killing it to everyone that is, right? Continue studying. Make sure that you literally have your model, right? Whether it's on your wall, it's pasted on your screen, it's in a small book or something in front of you. You wake up in the morning, you read it every single day, you wait for these specific things to occur. If it doesn't occur, you do nothing, and if it happens, you know what to do. And we'll talk again. Good luck and good trading.